Do not watch this video if you're not up to date on the Pokemon anime subbed. Spoilers ahead. If you somehow avoided all the snapshots and leaks and whatnot and want to see what happens, leave now as there's some major news that dropped. So the Alola League in the anime has come to a close and we finally got word of Ash winning the league. Yes, after 22 years of the Pokemon anime, after losing time and time again to every Pokemon League in Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, and Kalos, he's finally won the Alola League after so long. I'm not making this video for the purpose of detracting from Ash's win. I'm using this to congratulate him as well. It's about damn time, my boy. Seeing him hold that trophy, even for a few seconds, makes me forget of almost everything Sun and Moon did wrong, and this does feel at least to some length inspirational to see. Finally, congratulations Ash on winning a Pokemon League. I'm very happy he's finally won a Pokemon League after a long ass time, after how climactic his Sinnoh League run was, his fight against Paul, only to lose to cheaply written Tobias with 2 legendaries, how hyped up and fantastic the Kalos League build-up was, his team, his rivals and character, not to mention the animation. He should have been able to win a league around those points. Yeah, he won the Orange Island League plus the Battle Frontier, but most consider the game-specific leagues the real prizes, and him winning this one makes so much sense as to why people are making a big deal out of it. Like, go on Twitter, it's like people are acting like how Leonardo DiCaprio won his first Emmy, or if Ash won a Super Bowl or something. And the thought just hit me, he seems to win island-specific leagues only, which is odd to think about. He's been training since the age of 10, and he can retire at the age of 10. He's a legend, man. With what I'll say later on though, do not let those words take away from the fact there is some satisfaction and enjoyment out of seeing the 10-year-old trainer wanting to be the very best finally win a major Pokemon League. It is a special and monumentous occasion that can't be understated. Within the context of him winning after all these years of training, traveling, losing, etc., it's reasonable to make this a significant victory because to some lengths, it genuinely is. I'm proud of my boy for finally winning a game-specific league, and he can prance around with his W on his chest with gusto. The thing I want to get off my chest is it's not as satisfying as I feel it should be. Like, I'm happy, but I don't feel as excited or happy as I should. This could be a hot take, this is all my opinion, which is always subjective, and again, this is the same kid that has been stuck with our childhoods in multiple generations, the character that's the sole definition, the closest defining thing, and main staple of the Pokemon anime. I can still rejoice and celebrate Ash's victory. You know he had to have won at some point, and now all the jokes of him remaining an eternal loser who will never win a league will likely die now. But there's several factors as to why people feel frustrated and unsatisfied with this win. Personally, I feel it's both. He should have won, thank God he did, given the competition was mostly a joke, but it does feel like a cheap win because of that. One reason some may feel this win isn't as good or fulfilling is the entire structure of the Alola League itself. Yes, there was no pre-established Pokemon League in Alola, this was the region's first league ever, and within that context, this does feel like a league Ash could have won easily, which he did. But Pokemon Leagues are nothing new. They have research and knowledge from 6 other regions Kukui and others could have used to make the league feel more official or fleshed out. Instead, they opted for just about anyone to enter the league. Literally, your grandma was allowed to enter if she had a Pokemon, where the preliminaries are a massive battle royale with 151 trainers exactly like the structure of Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of Power, that resulted in numerous one-shot attacks and some easy cop-outs, again, like Dragon Ball Super, and the top 16 qualify for the tournament. This rule set undermines Ash having completed the Island Challenge and Grand Trials, outside of getting battling and matchup experience with his Pokemon, as there was never a rule to do so, making the lineup of trainers less intimidating or competent than leagues past. As far as we actually know, Ash and Gladion were the only trainers in the entire Alola League to complete the Island Trials, so them making it to the finals makes logical sense. But because of this makes the competition look non-threatening. The top 16 consists of the entire main cast, Acerola, Hau, Gladion, Guzma, Mina, Ilima, Faba, Principal Oak, and Jesse and James from Team Rocket. At least a quarter of Alola's best were comedic relief characters, and you know exactly what kind of route the league will go with which trainers will win and who will go where because we know these characters, so it feels like fodder. Out of these trainers, there's maybe a quarter or a little more than that feel like a potential threat and or worth watching. Ash, Kiawe, Gladion, Guzma, and even Lana. It's like this with every league, around quarters or semis is where fights get interesting, but until then we're stuck with fights with the other characters that we know will lose. This segues into my second point as to how this league and Ash's win feels underwhelming for some. The battles. Like Dragon Ball Super's issue with the Tournament of Power, there are many opponents that succumb to one-shot attacks and simple strategies that feel basic and serve to move the story along, whether in the case of bad/mediocre writing and or cheap power scaling. This was basically the preliminaries of the league itself and what came about to be the top 16. Ash, Gladion, Guzma, Kiawe, Hao, and such reasonably made it along, mostly due to their own efforts or because of who/what they represent. But Lily, Mallow, Sophocles, etc., characters you know can't even hold a candle to Ash and his rivals, either get carried by each other by working together, or get easy one-shot kills out of nowhere, only because they're the main characters and they quote-unquote have to win. Once the battles start, we're met with a comedy match between Ash and Faba, which was funny, I will admit, a good match between Ilima and Guzma to highlight Guzma's power, a fantastic match between Mallow and Lana, testing their friendship and respect, and forgettable matches such as Hao vs. Oak, Sophocles vs. Mina, Jesse vs. James, which the title built up only to almost completely underdeliver, Kiawe vs. Acerola, and Lily vs. Gladion, which Lily got bodied in. It's only round 1 though, not the main dish, so it's all good. It's what comes after, it's what we're looking at, right? Next come the quarterfinals. Gladion vs. James, which is forgettable because James got smoked. Ash vs. Ooh, I'ma get to you in a second. Just you wait for that one. Kiawe vs. Sophocles, which for some reason was actually very good, and a solid fight between Lana and Guzma where Lana fought hard, but Guzma overpowered her. Half was solid, with the other half being bad. It picks up the rest of the way from here, thankfully, but the quarterfinals was the biggest wrench in the outcome for the league, for better and worse. Kiawe vs. Gladion in the semifinals and Ash vs. Guzma in the semifinals were good and okay respectively, and Ash vs. Gladion in the final match was good, but nothing felt amazing or worth remembering. Like, compared to Ash vs. Gary, Ash vs. Paul, Ash vs. Conway, Sawyer, even ones where it's BS and he loses like Ash vs. Tyson, Ash vs. Tobias, Ash vs. Alon, etc. You really think Ash and Gladion's final round in the league will go down worth remembering along the same tier as those others? Not because it's another worthy rival of Ash and it's their third battle, but because it was the final round of a Pokemon League? Their battle was fine, don't get me wrong, and again, this is all my opinion, but because it was only good and nothing grandiose and utterly amazing, it's hard for me to feel even more proud or satisfied for him. Speaking of rivals, my third main point is Ash vs. Hao. I haven't given my thoughts on the matter. This fight was a massive talking point several weeks ago, but I'm confident everyone here can guess my feelings towards this fight. Remember when I mentioned the handful of noteworthy trainers among the competition being Ash, Guzma, Gladion, Kiawe, and Lana? Notice how I left Hao out. This is a character that is one of your main rivals in the Sun and Moon games, so you'd think the anime would try and give as much time trying to build a solid foundation with him as a rival. The problem is they didn't. Gladion was a great rival for Ash, and had proper build-up. Him and Ash had several confrontations throughout the Sun and Moon anime, and they built a solid foundation for their rivalry. It took almost 100 episodes for them to introduce Hao, and he's only had that one episode of establishment as Ash's rival, and his Dartrix/Decidueye's rival to Ash's Rowlet. Up until the league, we only know he did the first grand trial. I didn't call him competent or noteworthy because he had such horrible development as Ash's rival, because outside of Rowlet vs. Dartrix/Decidueye, there was nothing. He had a Raichu that we only see for split seconds between episodes, and yes, we know the outcome was in Ash's favor like most of his rival battles during the league, but with or without that, they didn't build Hao up as a proper rival for Ash at all. Tied with the abysmal battle between them in the league, sours the mood for a lot of people. This match was horrible. This fight was total bullshit, and we know this. We all know this is bullshit. Hao's Dartrix evolved. Ash's Rowlet is motivated as hell to fight Decidueye, and even with his friends trying to tell him, hey, Ash, Rowlet's a bad choice. You can easily get smoked by Rowlet Evolved Evolution if you use him. Be smart. Ash has faith in Rowlet and trusts in his ability to try his hardest to win. Battle starts, Decidueye dodges Rowlet's Z-move, Bloom Doom, and lands a Spirit Shackle on Rowlet, only to ultimately miss because the Spirit Shackle trapped the shadow of Rowlet's cloak that Toucannon and the Trumpbeak gave him. That's flag number 1. Rowlet struggles to land a blow, gets whacked by Leaf Blade and Spirit Shackle, and Rowlet's face planted on the ground, seemingly knocked out. The Island Kahunas are the referees, and at this point, Nanu declares the battle over and states Ash as the loser and Hao the winner after seeing Rowlet down on the ground, unable to move, with a disappointed Ash tipping his hat down in despair as Rowlet is on the ground, motionless, stagnant, unable to respond. Moments later, Hala, another kahuna and Hao's grandfather, calls out Nanu's declaration as false and confirms, moments after the fact, like old Rowlet fashion, Rowlet fell asleep willingly, despite the fact Ash's Rowlet was unable to battle and the match was declared over. Despite the fact Ash declared Rowlet unable to fight during the first Grand Trial because Rowlet fell asleep and Ash took a sign of Rowlet being exhausted. Despite Hala being Hao's grandfather, essentially cucking his grandson out of a win. The battle restarted and Ash was given a freebie because of Rowlet screwing up. That's flags 2 and 3 at the same time. 2, because the declaration was pulled back despite the reason to end the battle there, rightfully so. This could be compared to Charizard sleeping on Ash during the Indigo League. Yeah, Charizard slept willingly on its own out of disrespect for Ash, but Rowlet still willingly slept on its own too. Both can still be compared. It's also flag 3 because Ash put faith in Rowlet putting forth his absolute best, only for Rowlet to almost screw him out of the entire league. It makes Ash look incompetent for placing faith in Rowlet for that to happen when everyone told him otherwise, and Rowlet looked like a joke for not treating the league as seriously as it should when the viewers and Ash and others expect him to put forward his very best, when we all know damn well this isn't even Rowlet's best. Between the BS logic behind the battle statements, Rowlet getting clapped by its evolution only for 2 Brave Bird connections to seal him the win, for Ash placing flawed faith in Rowlet, and for Hao getting robbed hard, it's flat out ridiculous. Just for the sake of comedy, they ended up delegitimizing much of Ash's genuine wins and progress in the league because of this win basically being spoon-fed to him despite all logic saying otherwise. The fourth and last reason why people may not find this win deserved is the lack of proper build-up. Can anyone tell me how many 6-on-6 battles the anime had? Not just the league, but the entirety of Sun and Moon. Yeah, none. 0. There's a later episode in 2 weeks that seems to indicate we'll get a 6v6 battle, possibly Poipole returning to Ash for that, but every battle in the league has been a 1v1, with the semifinals being a 2v2 and the finals being a 3v3. Normally, most battles consist of 3v3s, with 6v6s taking up quarterfinals and or semifinals onwards. Ash didn't have 6 Pokemon on deck, but they could have made Ash use old Pokemon or made Poipole return as well. Not to mention Ash's team in Sun and Moon is middle of the road when looking at everyone, especially compared to previous teams he had, during Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and Kalos. He has an evolved Mythical, sure, but between Lycanroc, Rowlet, and mid-stage Torracat, it's hard to feel it's that deserved when many of his past Pokemon and teams have accomplished so much more while showing the fruits of their labor, especially compared to Rowlet's fumble. Not only this, but similar to the games, they hardly hyped up the league until the very end. Before that, Ash had trials every occasional dozens of episodes later, but between that was lots and lots of episodes on other characters for better or worse, or a bunch of filler. Sun and Moon has some fantastic episodes for sure. Ash's grandchild versus Olivia. Great episode, fantastic battle. Almost every episode on Pony Island was surprisingly great. Mallow with her mom and Tapu Fides missed. Utterly beautiful episode. Almost every Lily-centric episode, almost every Kiawe-centric episode, Litten joining Ash in Stoutland's death, another great one, the episode with Poipole and Minior, another great one. There are fantastic episodes in Sun and Moon. I've seen every episode up until this point. The annoying thing with the anime is those great episodes are spread far out and sandwiched between these filler episodes, average episodes, or bad ones. Ash's trial against Jesse's Mimikyu, Ash's grand trial against Nanu, the final episodes of the Aether Foundation arc, the grand trial against Hapu, oh lord, how many Rotom episodes are there, among other filler episodes or bad episodes. Several big fights, Hao included, were where he literally got wins handed to him on a silver platter. Battling was hardly a major stamp in Alola and the anime until Ash was involved most of the time, and while he trained, not all or many training/battling moments were naturally written or built up for this grand showdown, or well presented of how hard him and his Pokemon work in some instances. Battling in the action, the anime, and Pokemon as a whole is well known for, took a backseat more often than not because Sun and Moon focused a lot more on comedy and slice of life. Sun and Moon's overall quality, in my opinion, is inconsistent because of this shift in focus, and as a result, they sacrificed lots of consistent growth and natural consistent writing and progression for Ash, other characters, and his Pokemon for comedy and slice of life. It took over 30 episodes for Lana to have proper character growth. It took Sophocles almost 70 to have a backstory and actual motivation, and half the cast in general took forever to get proper character progression and growth, while Lily and Kiawe were characters that got actual personality and progress since almost the beginning of the saga. There were an exponential amount of moments of comedy and slice of life compared to what Pokemon's used to. And I'm not saying comedy and slice of life is a bad thing. You can make a good story out of comedic slice of life. There's nothing wrong with that genre, and most anime have at least some episodes or moments of comedy, slice of life, and overly exaggerated faces. Pokemon has done comedy and crazy faces before. The problem with it in Sun and Moon is that portion of storytelling and structure is amplified tenfold beyond the normal threshold of what average viewers may expect, to where there was either so much comedy or so much slice of life and a lack of consistent writing, progression, and major events, to where the episodes and certain moments were either off-putting, improperly paced, improperly written, simple, or just flat out boring. You might remember within the first several months of the show, there was a lot of those memey faces, normal slice of life and comedic episodes, people spreading controversy over how Ash looked and the overall art style of Sun and Moon, and there were a number of people turned off by that around the first several months of Sun and Moon. It was just too much for many viewers, and halfway through the Sun and Moon saga, they've noticeably decreased that emphasis. It's still there, but it was a prominent issue for some at the beginning for a while. The writing and character throughout Sun and Moon was inconsistent because of the heavy emphasis on slice of life, and you can make a good story out of Pokemon and slice of life. Sun and Moon has a couple examples of this, but because it was simply too much, there wasn't as much proper growth or satisfaction throughout the adventure, for multiple reasons depending on the specific point in the adventure, which ties into how Ash's final team came about, or how strong the side characters should really be, how the league progressed, how certain battles and outcomes and writing achievements or screw-ups led to this moment. Not every show's perfect, but I've noticed more issues with this in Sun and Moon than some past Pokemon sagas, and past Pokemon sagas have built up Ash's progression, team, character, etc. much more fluidly than Sun and Moon has, in my opinion. The disappointment can also come from the fact that this news was leaked like almost a week ago. We literally got a scan of him holding the championship trophy before the episode aired, which is such a stupid oversight for a moment this big. How could they screw this up this badly, man? As a result, some fans felt it was either a joke or it sucked all the wind out of most of the enjoyment. But between the flawed structure of the league itself, between the inconsistent and underwhelming battle quality for a Pokemon League, and for the average build-up and progress compared to past adventures, some may not completely sit right with this win, and people may feel it was a cheap low blow, especially after the massive backlash from the Kalos League loss, and I could see why. I could see this win be a direct response to how angry fans were with the outcome of XY's Kalos League. And once again, I'm not trying to take away from the fact that Ash finally won a league. But imagine if Tobias wasn't in the Lily of the Valley conference, for Ash to lose, or Ash beat Alon in the Lumiose conference, hypothetically. You can't tell me people wouldn't be over the moon with how him and his Pokemon were written there and winning rightfully so comparatively. Ash utilizing his entire library of Pokemon during the Sinnoh League, all the great rivals on deck, Paul being Ash's greatest rival of all time, even more than Gary, or Ash and his team built up in X and Y, and how each Pokemon went through distinctive hardships and had notable personalities. You know there wouldn't be people feeling some length of emptiness or a mellow exterior if Ash won either one of those leagues, since those actually felt like there was a lot more accelerating Ash's character and motivation along with each trainer there, instead of winning with an easy bait competition almost, with an average team, and the most controversial art style Pokemon's ever seen. I know those who like Sun and Moon might find this statement annoying probably, but I still strongly feel he should have won the Kalos League for reasons I've stated before. If not for Kalos, I would easily say Sinnoh as well. I could still wholeheartedly say, with full confidence and genuine feeling, that those Pokemon Leagues were fantastic and worth the watch from start to finish, even with the outcomes. I can't say the same for the Alola League given all the reasons I've stated above. With that though, it's still nice to finally see him win for once and bask in the glory of being a Pokemon League champion. But this raises the question, what's next for the anime? Is this the end of Ash? Time will tell, but I'm predicting no. Even if he wins the league, not only has Ash not been declared a Pokemon Master yet, you know Ash still isn't the best trainer out there, especially looking at the competition he had to deal with in the Alola League. Winning one major, especially for that region's first, doesn't make you the best. I also think something relatively big will be teased within the next couple episodes. Okay, so the cynicism in me thinks the team's gonna pull another dick move of some kind. It might not happen, I could be wrong. I'm predicting during Ash and Masked Royal's exhibition match, Ash will lose, and either the match will act as a league defense title, like the games, and Ash will lose, revoking his championship title to Kukui, or he loses but gives up his championship title willingly, as he feels he could still train and get stronger, as that match proves he's not really the best in Alola, or the world for that matter, and he has a lot to learn. With either outcome, something tells me Ash might somehow give away his championship title out of a loss, because I think Kukui's probably going to beat him. At the very least, he'll say he wants to continue to travel. Alola may not have one, but there's still lots of Elite Fours, other champions, and other powerful trainers out there trying to achieve the same goal. It's confirmed that the next iteration of the Pokemon anime, likely for Sword and Shield, will coalesce all the regions this time, which is exciting. This is making me think of one or two outcomes, if not both. One, we're gonna get a time skip. We'll see Ash age and he'll train from square one with every Pokemon he has and be much more competent and stronger like X and Y for the much more daunting trials ahead. Two, the likelier scenario is we'll finally see a potential Champions League. Cynthia mentioned such during Diamond and Pearl, and I believe we'll see Ash try to compete and go up against strong trainers, past rivals, and maybe even Elite Four members and champions, with these acting as Ash's gateway to either being a Pokemon Master or actually being the very best. For all we know, they might do something with alternate movie Ash instead, but something big's about to happen in the anime in a couple months, and I can't help but think they'll try and do something big with the anime's biggest icon. I don't think we're done with Ash, and they're going to use this next iteration to focus more on his character and bring back past ones, rivals and such, and hype up his story more, or potentially end it. I could be wrong though. What do you think? You think I'm on to something with the Gen 8 anime or no? Is it reasonable for those to be even remotely indifferent or unresponsive to Ash winning the league all this time given the issues the Alola League has? Let me know down below. Still, it's nice to bask in the sheer fact Ash finally won a league. Even after 20 years of trying and losing, you could still win. Now there's an actual inspirational quote than just "it's okay to lose" from this occasion. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more Pokemon content, Let's Plays, anime and game discussions, and other related videos. Stay super.